Welcome everybody to the call. I am super, super pumped to have Milli with us today. Milli is a dear friend of mine that I met through a coaching program, Richard Robbins, quite a few years ago now, almost 5 years ago or 4 years. Anyways, Milli is the queen of events. She does an amazing job, and she is always, delivering the unexpected and just kind of doing the wowum. She is like, she should be my mascot for wowum. So anyways, I'm excited to have her on. She's going to share a little bit about different events that she's done in the past and what has been successful for her and how she kind of, how she does her thing. And so it's something that you, Milli, are now known for, essentially. I know in our coaching world, you are kind of known for these kinds of things. And I'm sure being a client of yours, they all kind of expect sort of, you've kind of set the stage for yourself in a sense, because I'm sure your clients expect this amazing event, and I'm sure you blow it out of the water every single time. So yeah, I'm super excited. So tell us a little bit about, the beginning stages and your, where you get your inspiration and how you plan and those kinds of things.
Well, first of all, thank you, Michelle, for having me. I'm completely honored to be here, and thank you for the warm intro. So I actually love events. I love giving. I love giving gifts, and so for me, this kind comes natural. Like I've always been like this ever since I was a kid, and now I get to do it in my career, which I think makes it a little bit more special because I'm so passionate about it. And the way it started off with, I guess, events, um, I I'm a little bit anal about having events be the same, follow the same theme. So I think that's kind of where it started from. If I do like this, like what the holiday event that we're talking about, that has to carry through from the invite all the way to what we do at the event to at the end, right? So for me, it's really important to have a common theme. And in terms of where I get my inspiration, I kind of just think. I know that sounds super, super easy and basic, but that's where, if you think about it, if we just go back to simple times and basic, if we just kind of take out all the noise and the distractions and literally like lock yourself in a room and be like, okay, what do I want to do? And kind of just hear your inner voice, that's where it all kind of comes from. And then I just expand from there. So with this holiday party, it actually, funny thing was I was with my kids in the mall and, waiting for taking pictures with Santa Claus, and it's kind of a zoo now, right? I don't know if you've done that. And I was like, oh my God, there has to be a simpler way. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to host an event for my clients, family and friends. I'm going to have Santa there, and it will just be, easy to take photos. And that's kind of how that holiday event last year started. Was I was going to have Santa photos, but with me, I have to have the theme carried forward. It's not just,
you can't just have pictures with Santa.
No, right? Because at least I want people to stay. And for me, it's all about connection as well. And it was this party, or this event was an end of year client appreciation. So it had no real estate, topic associated with this one. It was literally a give back, a thank you. So what I did was, okay, what are the, main three elements of a party? Decor.
Yes.
Food, which we'll talk about as well as and activities. Like, what are you gonna do? We'll start off with decor. I love decor, first of all. It's something that excites me when I go out to restaurants. I'm not a foodie, but if I see pretty colors and nice layers, that's what excites me.
You're like the environment moody. You're the moody.
I'm the ambiance. Like, I love that, right? That's what really excites me. And so because it excites me, I feel like that's kind of what I do. So for this holiday party, one of my strategic alliances I collabed with her actually, and she's my interior designer stager, and she had just built this beautiful barn, and she told me, come take a look, host a party here, host the event here. And I came, and it was beautiful. And it was literally like, when you're going to a barn farm, like just with the picturesque snow in the background, and she had actually horses. It was just beautiful. I'm like, done. Let's transform this barn, and that's what we did. So we literally, I had clients walk in and they see a nice sofa with, draped with Christmas trees and lights, and it just seemed like it kind of like a holiday barn, right? That people
A
walked in.
Hallmark movie setting, Tara.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And it was funny because I had clients walk in the barn, and I'm greeting them, telling them welcome, and they're like, "Oh my God, thank you for having me here. This was wonderful." And I'm like, "You just walked in." And they're like, "If I
Yeah.
have to leave right now, I'm happy." Like, because it was the decor, right? It sets the mood. It sets the
Yeah.
stage, right? So with any party, you want someone to walk in and stay, right?
Mhm.
So, and that's one of the things, at least
Like
for
you're
me,
starstruck almost.
yeah, right. And be like, oh, I want to explore. I don't want to leave, right? So
Mhm.
I find decor, and again, you just follow the theme. With the holidays, it was easy, right? I was able to, um, put Christmas trees and lights, and just make it really cozy. So that's what worked for the decor.
And that works too when people get their phones out and they're like taking videos, because we've been out for lunch many of times, and
Yes.
you've gotten your phone out and you're like taking video and taking pictures, because it just confirms that this was an amazing opportunity and to take advantage of, basically.
It's the visual element, right? And it's nice because I did have a photographer there with Santa, but just like what you just said, because there was so many different nice backgrounds all across the barn, I saw people posting to Instagram or social, and just for their own, albums. And it was
Mhm.
nice because people felt like they liked the environment and they didn't want to leave, right?
Yeah.
Like they wanted to stay.
You're like kicking them out. Okay, it's time. It's over
No,
now.
no, no. But yeah, so I think decor sets your first. It's like your curb appeal of a home, right? Or
Yeah.
just when you walk into a new property, it's it's that first 8 seconds to
It's
grab their
the
attention.
first impression. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And then of course, if you want them to really stay, you need food, right?
Yeah.
And what we did for this one again, so I had babies all the way up to 80-year-olds, right? So it was a family event, and some of my clients, brought their parents and the grandparents. So it was really nice. So I had to, first of all, I wanted to make it, food that was accessible to everyone and something that people would like. This was in the afternoon, so it wasn't at a meal time per se. It was from 2 to 5 p.m. So kind of that in between snacky. And so what we did was, so I did have a caterer there, and she's fabulous. And we did a poutine station and a slider station. Right, those are
Okay.
the two stations that was anchored, which was great, and we obviously accommodated for people's like any food restrictions or allergies. So what's the word I'm
Catered
looking
to
for?
those people.
Catered to
Mhm.
those. And then so those kind of were on the two ends. And then the middle we had a grazing station, but it was child friendly. So we had popcorn and cookies and donuts. And then I had a candy station too at the back, right? Some of the parents probably didn't like me too much with that, but the kids were like, we're never leaving, right? They
Yeah.
and it was so easy to execute. You go to Bulk Barn or wherever you're gonna get your bulk candies, set it up in pretty dishes. Again, it has to look aesthetic, right? For people to come and want to take it. And you set up some bags, and you have people put them in, and the kids then get like a little, you know, goodie bag, or they can eat there as well. For the
And one
drinks,
thing And one thing that Millie is good at, and I will mention too, is she's not out about buying the most expensive
No.
decor and the most expensive dishes for the candy. Like, maybe talk a little tiny bit about the fact that you do not go out and spend thousands of dollars on these events, which blows my mind sometimes that you can do these events on, on
A
such a
budget.
amazing budget. Yeah.
So I'm a shopper and I love a good deal. Like that's kind of, if I get a good deal, I'm like, yes, right? So for
Mhm.
me, that excites me. And just like what you said, Michelle, I I obviously want high-end quality. So that's something that the quality
You
can't
don't
be,
compromise.
I don't compromise on the quality, but you can get good stuff at good prices, right? And so it's one of the things where Dollar Tree had really nice like bonbon candy dishes, like
Yeah.
so I had all of those $1.25
Yeah.
dishes, and then you have the candy right on top of it. So it's you could really and again, because I didn't have a full like meal, I had a poutine station and sliders, which that cut down the food cost as well, right? And
Right.
they're heavy food, so you don't have to have like a full meal,
Mhm.
but they're comfort foods. And I felt being in a barn, on a Sunday afternoon, in the afternoon, that's what would attract, and to the point where everybody loved it, right?
Yeah.
So that was good. And then even for drinks, I didn't complicate it. I literally had my DeLonghi coffee machine there that has hot water for hot chocolate. And I had hot chocolate packages there, and then a little bit of toppings in terms of whipped cream or marshmallows or sprinkles, whatever the kids wanted to decorate it, and coffee and water. That was it. I kept it super, super simple. And parents loved it because
Mhm.
kids had the hot chocolate, the parents had a coffee or espresso or whatever they wanted, or then water. I didn't
Yeah.
overcomplicate it.
Well, you
And
were already filling the kids with candy,
yeah,
so why not just give them water?
exactly. So it all worked out, but the display of it was gorgeous. And I'm not sure if you have any photos, but I can always send
Yeah.
that to you,
Yeah.
right? But the uh the display made you want to eat. So
Yeah.
it's because again, I'm all about the decor. So it
Yeah.
was set up really nicely and it tasted good too. And it was convenient because there were stations. So
Yeah.
because it was a drop-in party from 2 to 5. So
Right.
it was one of the things where I had to have, warm food depending on what time people came, and it had to be kind of quick, like that you can just eat as you walk around.
Right, right. Yeah. And that's such a and two, I remember in July, I was at an event in Las Vegas and like we paid a premium price to be at this event. And I know that one of the reasons why they charged us so much for the event was because they included food.
Mhm.
But honestly, the food was horrific. And so I'm sure had they known that, you know what I mean? Like maybe they would have invested in a little bit more to have better food or whatever. You know what I mean? Like the food is such an important element because it's either really good, okay, or it's not good. And you want to make
And
sure.
and the fact that that's what you just remembered from that event, because people walk away with
I know.
remembering it, right? Out of the whole event, the first thing you talked about was the food.
Yeah, because it
And
it stands out. And
it
because
is.
I think your expectation was a bit kibosh in a sense because you're like, well, it was okay, but the food, like Jaden didn't even eat. Like he didn't even like he bit into the one donut and he threw it in the garbage. What 13-year-old is throwing a donut in the garbage, right?
No,
Like
and that's what I said. The quality cannot be
be compromised.
compromised,
Yeah.
but you don't have to go for like a big turkey dinner, right? Like
Yeah.
to serve at a party. I hosted a party last week, a different micro event, and I had pizza,
Yeah.
right? But again,
Simple.
the way I had it at a nice pizza place, but it was just takeout, and their boxes were really nice. I didn't even put it onto trays. I just displayed it in the different boxes. So that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. You can be totally creative, right? And go simple.
Yeah.
Like that's what, especially toward depending on who your audience was. Again, my audience, I was tailoring toward the children
Yeah,
for the holiday party.
for sure.
And the activities. So this is where I think, aside, like, the decor was amazing, the food was amazing. I actually think the activities was 10 times better than those two aspects, because again, depending on what your intent is, your objective, like, I wanted my people to stay, right, and have fun. So obviously the main attraction was Santa, right? So you came and, you had pictures, and you could have pictures just with the kids. You could have your whole family if you were there. Because I'm in a referral business, so a lot of my clients are family or friends of each other. So it was nice because they would take their own immediate family, and then they would get all the friends together. So that was really nice too, because if you were going to go to the mall and take Santa pictures, it's mostly just either the kids or then your core family. So this was kind of nice that they got a few different Santa pictures, right?
Plus,
So that was good.
I find that Santa pictures personally are like super expensive these days.
Very expensive. So what I did though was, because it is expensive, so I actually chose not to print the pictures, because
Okay.
that was a package there. But I chose to get the digital pictures from the photographer, and
Makes
then I
sense.
emailed it to the clients, which they were just as happy, right? So I know some people want the
Physical.
printed physical picture, right? So I gave them that option, then they can print it themselves, right? Just to
Absolutely.
save my cost. And then those a lot of them just like the digital, because they are sending them off
Yeah,
to their family, friends, or then posting on social. So
exactly.
it worked out both ways. The other thing I did with Santa that was actually a nice touch that not a lot of people did, and I actually remember this from when I was a child. So my mom worked at TD Bank, and they would have these massive end of year holiday parties. Of course, they're a bank, so they can do this. But one of the items that I always remembered and that I loved was, so I guess they would, back then it was like if you're a girl or you're a boy, and if you were, this age category, they had gifts for you.
Right.
And that was one of my favorite memories of those events. Like, they had bouncy castles, they had face painters, they had everything. But getting like a Barbie doll from, like, or a tennis ball or sports ball, that's what I remember to this day.
I still remember that too with my
Right?
dad who worked at Goodyear. They did
Yes.
that for us as kids too. Yeah.
Right. And nowadays you don't see that very often.
No.
So I actually brought it back. Right. And so literally what I did was, when everyone RSVP'd, I just asked for the kids' names and age group. Right. And I literally bought gifts that were, in for those age groups, and then I packaged them all in the same, like, organza nice Christmas bags, and then I had them beside Santa, and obviously I had an elf, which was like my daughter and her friends, to be there to, to cross off the list. And when they took their picture with Santa, then they would get a gift from Santa, which was
Right.
AKA me. But then they walked away with something. And again, going back to your point about cost, these were like $12 and under gifts, right? And you just have to look for it. Like, for the older boys, I got like Raptor basketballs, right? Or toques, right? For the younger girls, or I got Barbie dolls, or I got, even for the tweens, the Victoria's Secret body spray. I got them on sale for $8, right? So
Yeah.
it's, if you shop, and especially, I think the biggest thing is, I'm a planner at heart. I was born a planner. I will die a planner. So you have to plan in advance, right? Like, you can't just be December 1st and you're going to be putting on an event like this, in 5 days. You would need to plan beforehand. I'm buying gifts throughout the year, and I know you do that too, right? So whenever you see things, you're like, oh, so and so would like this. Or if you know you're going to have an event, you stock up. So
Yeah.
when they do go on sale, Black Friday is the best time, but which is coming up. But so that's what I did for one of the activities. And then I also wanted to have games for the kids. So I figured the adults will be fine with the coffee and just the mingling.
Yeah.
But I wanted the kids to be happy, because if the kids are happy, the parents are staying, right? And
Yes.
especially again, because I had my daughter and her friends there as little, I had little dollar store antlers first, so
Yeah.
everybody knew that they were the helpers, and they ran the games, which was nice again for the parents, because then they can mingle and talk and eat in peace, right?
Right.
While the kids did some of the games. One of the favorite games, and which the adults played this one too, I had a guess the candy cane competition, right? Because you know how
Mhm.
now there's so many different flavors, not just mint, right?
Right. Right.
So I had a whole bunch of different, I think it was like 10 different candy canes, different flavors, chocolate or birthday cake or strawberry, you have it, right? And we cut them all into little pieces and we put them in bowls, and we had a little sheet, and they had to, they take a piece of candy cane and they had to guess which, sorry, I talk with my hands, so you see
I don't even know why I did that.
I talk a lot with my hands, so it's probably saying that I'm thumbs up, but or unless it agrees with me, I don't know. But it was a lot of fun, and the adults wanted to play too. So
Yeah, I would want to do that.
yeah, it was fun. So we had that station, another station which was really cool. The parents really liked. So I had a especially more for the little kids, but had a write Santa letters station, right?
Mm.
Which was really cool because again, they weren't with their parents. They were with, the teenagers, right?
Mhm.
Which helped them write the letters to Santa Claus. And then what I did was we addressed it to, we said, okay, who's your parents? Right. So we put the parents' name on the outside of the envelope, and then we gave it to the parents. We said that your mom and dad are going to mail this to Santa Claus. So this
Right.
way I didn't have to mail it, right? The parents actually knew what to get for their kids,
Right.
because sometimes when you ask your children, what do you want? I don't know. I don't I don't know, right? Sometimes they'll give you a whole wish list, but sometimes they
Yeah.
don't know. This way you have it. I think so. A lot of the parents messaged me after saying, "Oh my God, thank you so much. You saved the day." And sometimes when they would read this, they're like, "Oh
I
my
had
God,
no idea.
we didn't know. They told us something else." Right.
Mhm.
So that was really good. We played some those 1 minute games, those minute to win it games,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
right? So where you get like red plastic cups and you make them into like a tree,
Okay.
and then you have to you play against another person, and you have to time it to see who's fastest to get the tree down to all. So that
Oh.
was a lot of fun too. Um, and then what else? Oh, this was kind of cool. This wasn't necessarily a game, but I had a little station where I said, "Are you naughty or nice?" And
Mhm.
if you were naughty, there was a basket there where I got these like black stones that resembled coal, right?
Mhm.
But they had all positive words on it. So it had like believe or dream or family or like something positive to say.
Right.
So the sign that I made was, okay, if you were naughty, then pick a stone and that's what you have to work on next year to get on
Oh,
the nice
okay.
list, right? And which was funny, right? Because it was more for like the adults who kept on picking it, even though the kids picked that as well. And then if you were nice, you got to pick a raffle ticket. And then so I had like 5 or 6 different items for raffles, and then that way they can pick to see if they want something.
Awesome. That's
Yeah.
so cool. Yeah. Okay. So wrapping it up. And we do have, well, here, let's look
Yeah.
at some of these Milli inspiration.
Okay. Okay.
I loved coming up with that. I was like, oh, that's a good one.
I like it. So you'll see on the right hand side where it says you're invited. So that was the invite, right? So again, clear and center. Santa was going to be there. Black, red, and white, the theme, which we carried out at the event as well. And photos with Santa. But then we also said, there's going to be games and drinks and holiday food.
Right. Awesome.
And then
And
on
then,
the left, that's what I was just referring to. Have you been
right.
naughty or nice?
Perfect.
That was on the right hand side, the Guess the Candy Cane Challenge. So
Yes.
that was that station. And then on the left-hand side, so again, I know I gave a lot while people were there. I still wanted them to leave with something. So I got these sangria, they're not bombs. Oops.
Oh, there you are. I was like, what just happened?
I had bought these, there were these sangria bombs, right? So they were in the shape,
Okay.
I can't remember what, in a crown or something. They were 3D bombs, right? And they were in these little boxes. So I wrapped them up corresponding to the color theme. And they were like a little present, right?
Yeah.
And so it was like our presents to you. Thank you for coming. So one per
Oh.
family, they would leave with that.
Oh, awesome. Okay, let's go backtrack again. Okay. So yeah, so during the event, would it just be kind of like, were you kicking people out at 5 o'clock, or was it more like, did you do like an ending thing that
I
everybody?
didn't do an ending, so the party was supposed to end at 5, and people were there till 5:30, 5:45, to the point where it was like they got the hint when the caterers were packing up.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't actually have to kick anybody out of it, but they saw that okay, they're packing up now, so we should go. So that's
Yeah.
kind of how they knew the exit.
Awesome. And then do you do any type of follow-up after the party? Or
So
is it just kind of like roll into like, do you ever, I guess, invite them to the next thing that's coming up at the event itself?
unless I have something, like, so this was end of year last year. So
Right.
for this particular party, the after or the follow-up would me be sending the pictures.
Okay.
So
Right.
once I got, which again allowed me to have another touch point, right?
Yes.
For
Yeah.
them. So I sent them their digital pictures. And the nice thing about it was, so I had their Santa pictures, but also I told the photographer, take some candid photos also. So then I just packaged them all up and sent that to them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so did you just put that kind of in a nice little custom email to everybody that like sort of came?
Yeah, I didn't even do, like, normally I do like a Canva nice drawing or anything. I literally, because it was Christmas time as well, so things
Yeah.
are busy and everything. I sent each family an email, thank you so much for coming. Here are some memories from the event. And I just kept it super, super simple.
Yeah.
And then a conversation would come out after that.
Right. Which I think is like, it's super important to have that additional touch point after the fact, because then it just kind of sort of continues on with that future, building of the relationship and kind of just, I don't know, rolling into the next thing and making it
They
so
don't
that,
forget. They don't
yeah,
forget. Like, even like, so I did that party, that event last December, and I still have people talking about it, right?
yeah,
So it's something that if you execute it properly, and just like how you had not so good memories of the food
right.
in your Vegas event, right? If you have a really good experience, you're gonna keep talking about it and you're gonna remember it.
Exactly. And I think too, like people like ourselves who have those experiences that are memorable, and we want to recreate it in our own creative way and create memories for other people doing the same kinds of things,
Yeah,
right? So
for sure.
are you doing the same type of thing this Christmas? Or are you sort of
No,
doing something?
I never repeat my events.
Right.
So
Yes. You're a
so
one in like
I
one of a
I'm a
kind.
one and done. Doesn't matter how successful it is. Um, I want to keep people on their toes, right? Like,
Yeah.
I wanna give them something new. I'm not that type of agent or person that would repeat things, and that's just for me, right? Like, I know,
Like I just did my 7th annual pie party.
yeah, right. And again, if it works, it works, right? For me, I would never repeat this, so I'm not doing a holiday event this year.
Right.
I
Right.
switch it up. The nice thing about, for an end of year, we have so many items that we can choose from, like Halloween,
Oh,
Thanksgiving, Diwali if you celebrate it, and the
yeah. Mhm.
holidays. So I'm actually I switch it up every year.
Right, right. Now, just to kind of give an idea to other maybe realtors that are, well, Tara, she's on the call, she's a realtor as well. What would the event like this set you back in the sense of, even though you do things on a budget, how much would this kind of event cost?
So this one was one of the larger costs, right? And a lot of it was because of the food, right? So I was able to, because I collabed with my interior designer and stager, I was able to not pay for the venue. And that's what I try to do. Like, I try to get a strategic alliance partner for the venue so that you're not
Right.
paying for that.
Mhm.
Most of my cost was food, and the food, we had over 100 people,
Wow.
right? For this event. Again, this was the end of year client appreciation. Most of my events are around 20,
Right.
20 people, right? And so this event, with all of the, and Santa, believe it or not, was very expensive, right? I
I can rent mine out. He's going pretty white, so
Yes. Like, I was actually shocked at when we were, shopping around for Santas, right? How expensive Santa Clauses are. But at the same time, I didn't want any Tom, Dick, or
yeah.
Harry, right? Because nowadays you never know, right? Right. So I did want a reputable Santa, right? And
And
so,
is there like a Santa market? Like,
yeah, there is.
really?
There is. So, and there's reviews. There's reviews on these Santas.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So if you ever need one, I got some, right? But they can range anywhere from $200 to $600
Wow,
for
that's
like a
crazy.
3-hour event. And it's like
Wow.
there's like a contract and everything. Like, it's for real.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
I guess
So
I just learned something new.
yeah.
Then the Santa at the mall must be just rolling in the dough.
Oh, every day for like 2 months. Like,
I could not imagine. If it was $600 a day, that's all he has to work is
that's
those
all he
eight
has to
8 weeks
work.
of the year.
Right? So yeah, so the Santa costs a lot, and the food. So the food, just to give you, for that event, I think it was altogether about $3,200 for the food,
For the
right?
food. Okay,
For the
yeah.
food, and that was for over 100 people. And that's, again, they set up, they clean up, they do everything. So
Yeah.
that includes the wait staff as well.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
Wow.
so there was one, two, three, I think four wait staffs.
Okay.
And again, you have to see the setup, right? The
Yeah.
setup was unbelievable, right? It
Mhm.
literally, my caterer is her food is amazing, but she's a food stylist. So it's
Mm.
not just that she's just serving the food, it looks beautiful.
She's the Milli of food.
She is. That's why we get along, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, so I would say altogether, maybe 4,500 it cost for
Yeah.
that event.
Which I mean, to be honest, I'm sure you see return on investment with probably a good portion of your events. I imagine that you probably did receive something. Did you get any referrals or anything from that event?
Yeah, I got six leads from that event.
Yeah. So that in itself, and I'm just saying that to compliment.
Mhm.
Yes, it's an investment. Yes, you're kind of going out on a limb. And this is where I say, as a team, so Tara is actually a realtor who's on my team. Well, not team, but team. And like we could do this as a group.
Yeah,
Like you could very easily do this as a group and cut costs down significantly and still have the same impact.
definitely, definitely. That's the way. If you're able to collab with any of your strategic alliances or any partners or teammates,
Mhm.
right? Bring, your clients and share the cost. That's
Yeah.
the best way to go about it.
Yeah, for sure. Now, you would not be able to do that, I don't think, because you have such a meticulous way of doing things that
Yes.
I think that you would go crazy having to share, or I guess I don't even know what I'm trying to
I,
say.
I I have done collab events with others, but I actually tell them, I'm like, this is my vision. Are you on board?
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
And so a lot of them are like, yeah, because we don't have no vision. So you can run it. Here's our checkbook. Just tell us what to do and what to say. So those are the type of people I like to work with.
Exactly. Yeah. So, well, I really appreciate you hopping on. Tara, I don't know if you have any questions. You're welcome to pop any questions you have in the chat. We'll probably cut off, and I just thought of this while we were doing this, as the people who are on live get the opportunity to ask the Q&As, and then those of you who don't make the commitment to being on the live, maybe you just don't get the opportunity to take advantage of that. So I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but I do want to incentivize people to get on the calls live, because having an opportunity to talk to Milli and ask her questions is a huge advantage. And somebody who is as good at these things as Milli is, all her golden nuggets are worth their weight for sure. But Tara says, such great ideas. Thank you. Which honestly, this can be, so it does not just have to be real estate related. Like you could incorporate this in any business that you have, or these ideas, I guess, in any type of business that you have. It's just going out and above and beyond and doing things that other people in your industry are not doing. I know there are lots of realtors that do events, but do them strategically and well organized and well planned. Like if you do it this way, then you're going to have a much bigger success rate than, like you said, you're, December 1st, you're planning for a December 7th event or something. You want to have some time to plan and to
I actually plan all my events like in November for the following year. So
right.
I plan them all out. So then I'm aware of them, which months. I might not have all the details, but I know the concept, right?
Right.
And then that way I'm always just thinking, so that when I'm out and about, I'm like, oh, that would go really well for this event.
Do you have like a day at the spa and you just come in with these ideas for the day? That's what you need to do.
Do you know what I normally do? And I'm usually on a plane. I'm on a plane where I'm like not gonna be distracted. My phone's not gonna ring. I don't have showings. And I'm like literally on a plane, and I just get all these ideas.
Yeah, I'm like that in the car, and you know me. I have to have Post-its on my center console. Not in, it has to be on, because it's like I have like 20 or 30 Post-it notes every time I'm in the car.
I do voice notes now.
I've upgraded to a notebook. I do have a notebook. I can't do the voice notes because it doesn't come out the same way for me. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah. I can't speak it. I have to write it. I don't know. It's weird.
I have like a list of ideas, and I just will voice note it.
Yeah. Well, then I take them all, and then I actually have a whole basket of notes over here. And I'm like, okay, I need to go through all these and make sure that I implement, or at least store them where they need to be stored, or whatever.
Yes, definitely.
Awesome. Well, again, Milli, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I will have Milli is going to be potentially doing a course on some things. And so I think that we will incorporate some of her teachings inside the community at some point when she's got that finished, because I think what she has to share is very valuable. So yeah, until next time.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.